how to find the right girlfriend or wife. If you're a man with a busy career or your own business and you want to find a meaningful long-term relationship, this video is for you. Today I'm going to give you a clear plan of steps that you can follow overlooking Barcelona here to find a meaningful long-term relationship, and you'll also learn all the things that you should not do, things you have to avoid that are going to cost you time and money and emotions. Number one, write down these three things. Who am I? Where am I going? And with whom? Jorge Bucay, I hope I'm not butchering his name too badly, wrote a book called La Tres Preguntas, the three questions. I believe it only exists in German and English, where you basically write down, who am I, where am I going, and with whom? Who am I as a man? What are my goals? And what type of a woman or male friends do I want with me on that journey? And it's only once you understand who you are, what you stand for, what you stand against, what people should say about you during your funeral, what people must never say about you during your funeral, that you can then proceed to the next step and actually find people who have the same values. Because the number one qualification criteria for the right relationship, business relationship, friendships, is compatibility regarding your values. Your business partner has to have the exact same values as you. Your wife has to have the exact same values as you. You don't have to agree on sushi or steak. Perhaps one of you likes liver, the other one doesn't. One likes your upper body, the other one likes lower body. These are irrelevant things. But when it comes to your core values, believing in freedom of speech, for example, you have to be aligned. Because if you are not aligned on these things, you're gonna produce unnecessary conflict. How are you gonna raise children? How are you gonna have a family if you don't agree on these core things? So really write down in detail. If I were to dream big and zoom out and look at my life, not from the day-to-day micromanagement, responding to little things, but actually creating my life, what must people never say about me at my funeral? What must they say about my funeral? He was giving, he gave more than he took, he was a good friend, he was loyal, he had integrity, he aimed big, he helped. What really matters? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? Second question, who do you want? And now you write three things, three categories: must-haves, nice-to-haves, and deal-breakers. What are my absolute must-haves when it comes to the right woman? What are nice-to-have? Things that would be cool but aren't necessarily essential. And then what are deal-breakers? And once you figure out what your deal-breakers are, you realize, oh, it only takes one. She can be amazing, but she has a dick. Oh, shit, that's a problem. She's fantastic, she has all these things, but she has a gambling addiction. Whatever the particular detail may be, you have to write down what your deal breakers are, what your nice to haves are, and what your must haves are. Because it's impossible to hit a target at a shooting range if you're blindfolded. Your selective focus will not allow you to notice the opportunities around you if you're not aiming for them. Why does Jordan Peterson say we have to aim up? Well, one, because as Tony Robbins says, progress equals happiness, and only when we feel like we're making progress, we're actually happy and alive, but also so that we can achieve it. To have a goal means to be more likely to achieve it than not. And then the third step, the second step was actually, what are my goals, right? So you write down your goals, where your goals are, and this was kind of like the third step. Third step is, who do I want with me on that journey? And then you also have to separate it into the right woman as well as the right quality male friends. What type of men do I want in my life? Equally important. And most men never ask themselves that. Most men never ask themselves, what types of men do I want in my life? And I just made a post about it on Instagram, a carousel. Right now, we actually posted it about male friends. Check that out. Now, that's just the first step. Now you actually have to go about creating options, because most men think, oh, you're just going to find the right one by accident. You'll find her if you just keep going. If you just put yourself out there, you're going to find her eventually. It's not going to happen by accident. The right one won't just magically manifest itself from the heavens. It will take a lot more volume than you initially anticipated. You know that in business or your career, you need to apply for a lot more jobs than you initially thought to get the right one. You have to go through a lot more rejection than you initially anticipated. But remember, it's worth it. It is truly a finite game. It is a finite game. You don't have to do this forever. You can just dedicate yourself to this process temporarily, fully, and then be careful that you're not shaking it too much, because otherwise it's bouncing, and then check out, because then you found somebody for life. or at least for the next 15, 20 years. There's no guarantees you're going to stay together forever, but the probability that the relationship will succeed is so much higher. So use dating apps, use in-person approaches, and Instagram. Most men rely way too much on their social circle to get dates. How do I overcome my neediness? You're not needy, you just haven't eaten in a while. Am I needy for a steak if I haven't eaten in 3 days, or am I just hungry? It is very easy to be not needy if you have 1 to 2 first dates a week. Now, 2 might be much, but at the very least, you should have 1 new quality first date a week. If you want a quality relationship, there's 3 pillars you have to evaluate: personality and values, looks and intelligence. And to find somebody who scores high on all of them on your subjective scale, you have to go through a lot of options. Doesn't mean you have to have intimacy with all of them, but you have to evaluate a lot more options than you initially thought was necessary. So, dating apps are absolutely fantastic. I would say 60-70% of my clients find their girlfriend or wife through dating apps. Instagram is amazing, but in-person approaches is one of the best things. If you're a man, how can you call yourself that if you don't even know how to approach? Oh, I have a little bit of approach anxiety, progressive desensitization. Overcome it. Oh, there's a little bit of fear. Yeah, most men think they can do it, but they actually can't. Most men think they're good at fighting and they think they're good at talking to women. They can't do either. Give the average man a pair of boxing gloves and he's so instantaneously monumentally fucked, it's actually unbelievable. Ask the average man who's not drunk or not on other substances to go do an approach sober. He's not going to be able to do it. He just can't. Now, could he do it? Absolutely. But not given his current neurological programming and habits. You have to actually train yourself to overcome that fear of rejection. Because for the last 20, 30, 50 years of your life, 60 years of your life, you have not just not taken action. You have seen opportunities and actively decided against pursuing it. That is a habit. You don't just have the action-taking momentum, you have the opposite of as well. It's not just positive momentum and vacuum, you have negative momentum. Because your whole life you've made excuses. Yeah, she has headphones in, she's with her gay best friend, she looks serious, what have you. They're all, oh, I'm busy. Really? You didn't have 3 minutes? You really didn't have 3 minutes. Stop bullshitting yourself. Okay? You really didn't have 3 minutes. Nonsense. So you've made all these excuses throughout the entire duration of your life. And now you just have to unwire that. So whenever you see an opportunity, bam, you got to train yourself to go for it. And it's impossible to do that if you haven't progressively desensitized yourself. Some men, they can't go it, it's fine. But most men, me included, we had to go through a process, or you're going to have to go through a process where you go step by step. You just introduce yourself step by step. You maybe just hold eye contact with people in public. You maybe ask for directions. You maybe ask for directions, continue your conversation. You maybe ask for directions, continue your conversation. And then exchange for the Instagram. You build it very gradual. Now, to be able to walk through Barcelona and say, excuse me 2 seconds, you speak English? Cool. You're really cute, I had to come and say hi. To go in with a compliment, a direct approach, that's rather high up on the ladder of competence when it comes to approaches. To expect yourself to be able to do that right now is unfair. Because remember, this is a mindset game. 80% of success in anything comes from mindset. 20% is tactics and strategies. And we have tactics and strategies in our coaching program, on this YouTube channel, on Instagram, that are going to blow you away. But 80% of it is mindset, thoughts and emotions. Thoughts and emotions lead to actions, lead to results. It's extremely important that you make sure that you have somebody in your life, doesn't have to be us, could be us, apply for a free initial consultation call, who calls you out on your nonsense, who doesn't let you get away with your excuses, who corrects your thoughts. I think I should send this text. Absolutely not. I think this was appropriate. I think she was a little bit too challenging. I think I should have set a boundary here. There are technical details as well as things you believe about yourself, the world at large, or women as a whole, that are simply not accurate. And the closer you can come with your assumptions to objective reality, the higher the probability that you will win. So, use Instagram messages, dating apps, as well as in-person approaches. So then when you're on the date, you have to learn to communicate effectively. Most men communicate like lukewarm water. It's not amazing, it's not terrible. Let me tell you something. After an hour and a half or 2 hours on a date with you, she should either love you or hate you. That's it. Not because you're disrespectful, not because you're uncalibrated. You want to be a calibrated and functioning member of society. But it's extremely important that she feels very strong, positive emotions towards you, Or after 7 minutes, you realize, well, we're really not aligned on our core values. I wish you all the best. Take care. I'll pay for your Uber home, and we shall never speak again. That is also fine. But there's an opportunity cost associated with you being on that date. What else could you do? 7 approaches, send 20 Instagram messages, be on dating apps, work on your business, work on your health. There's a million other things you could be doing with that time. Disqualifying the wrong people quickly is one of the most important things. Most men don't disqualify the wrong women quickly enough because they don't have enough options. They haven't gone through the previous steps, and now they get needy. So they jump into a relationship with the wrong woman too quickly. I did the same thing with my ex-wife. She was just kind of around. Oh, I guess it's meant to be. No, it wasn't meant to be. It really, really wasn't meant to be. Absolutely not. What happened was I was deprived of love and connection, like most men are. And so somebody comes along, and the first best thing you jump into, not evaluating compatibility regarding your values, personality, and perhaps an intellectual fit. Some of those are usually met, but not all. Let me tell you something. The difference between a 5 out of 10 compatibility and a 9 out of 10 compatibility is a lifetime of happiness. Maybe not a lifetime, maybe 8 years, maybe 15 years, but a long time of happiness. Now, once you change your communication, you get really good at storytelling, you get really good at communicating at the level of emotion, we now proceed to the last step, which is moving things forward, where you start setting boundaries, you communicate your expectations, you communicate your needs, and you pay attention to the social dynamics. Because there are certain principles, like overinvestment, so many, where if you're not aware of them, the ship is going to sink. Gravity works whether you're aware of it or not. Gravity works whether you like it or not. So you might as well start to harness it. One example, if you just overinvest, if you're a little bit too agreeable, if you're a little bit too available, if you send massive blocks of text, if you don't set boundaries, if you don't communicate in a polarizing way, which sub-communicates to her that you have options, if you don't do that, you are overinvesting. And as much as she wants you to invest, an overinvestment is going to make her lose respect. And you have to understand that's what's going to make her stick around is, on the one hand, largely respect. Yes, it's comfort and trust, but it is also respect. So, you write down who you are, what you want, your goals, who you want with you. Then you create a lot of options for yourself to disqualify the wrong people quickly. You improve your communication skills, and then you set boundaries, you communicate your expectations and your needs, and you pay attention to the social dynamics. If you want us to help you with that personally, apply for a free initial consultation call. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Take care.